In this lecture, we are going to revisit cursors in MongoDB and we will learn how we can work with cursors. We have already learned that when we use find method to query a collection, instead of returning all the documents from the collection, find method returns us a cursor. A cursor is an object which points to a specific set of documents in the result set. And the reason MongoDB returns a cursor instead of all the documents from a collection is to avoid overload of network bandwidth. So for example, let's say if we have 100,000 documents in a collection and if we query that, if MongoDB sends all the 100,000 documents at once, it is going to overload the network bandwidth and it will slow down the client application. So it basically affects the performance of your application. And that's why instead of sending all the documents at once from a collection, MongoDB sends us a cursor. A cursor points to a specific set of documents in a collection. We have also learned that when working with Mongo shell, a cursor returns 20 documents at a time by default. So let's learn more about cursor in this lecture, and for that let's go to Mongo shell. Now to work with cursor, first of all we are going to create a test collection, and in that test collection we are going to insert some data. And I'm going to use the same file, this users.js file, which we used earlier when we talked about the cursor. So I'm going to copy this array, and here let's say db.test. So I want to create a test collection, and in that I want to insert all these documents. So here I'm going to use insert many. Let's paste the array here, which we have copied from user.js file. And as you can see, in this list, we have 46 documents. So if I go ahead and if I press enter, it is going to insert all those documents. Here you can see the index at which the documents have been inserted and the ID of that document. All right, now let me go ahead and let me clear the shell here. So as we have learned, when we use find method on a collection, instead of returning all the documents, it is going to return us a cursor. And by default, that cursor will have first 20 documents, as you can see here. So it has returned us first 20 documents. If I type IT and if I press enter, it will return us the next set of documents. And in the next set also, we have 20 documents. If I type IT again and if I press enter, it will return us the next cursor. And in that cursor, we have these 6 documents. Now let me clear the shell here. And here I want to talk about another cursor method called next. So let me go ahead and let me again call the find method on the test. If I press enter, it is returning us first 20 documents. But on that find method, if I go ahead and if I call next, so this next is a cursor method. That means it can be called on a cursor. And this find method returns us a cursor. So on that we are calling this next method. And this next method is going to return us the next document in that cursor. Till here, it is going to return us the 20 documents. And on that, when we are calling the next method, it should return us the next document in the cursor. Now, when we are using this find method, it is going to return us these 20 documents. And on that, when I call next, it will return us the first document. Okay, so it will point to the next document in the cursor. Now, since we have not fetched any document from this cursor yet, the next will point to the first document. If I press enter, as you can see, it is returning us the first document, and it will return us only a single document, not a list of document. And if I try to call next again and if I press enter, it is still returning us the first document, because every time we use find method on this test collection, it is going to return us the first 20 documents. And on that, when we are going to call next, it is always going to return us the first document. Right. So what we will do is the cursor which this find method is returning, we will assign it to a variable. So for that, let's create a variable. Let's call it cursor object. And to that, let's say db.test.find. So this find method is going to return us a cursor. That cursor will be assigned to this cursor obj. And here I'm able to create a variable and assign it with some value, because as we have learned, in Mongo shell, we use JavaScript like syntax. And in JavaScript, we can create a variable using const keyword. In the same way, here also we can create a variable using const keyword. And to that, we can assign some value. Here, we are assigning a cursor returned by this find method. If I press enter, so this cursor object should be created and it should be assigned with the cursor which this find method has returned. Now on that cursor object, if I call next method and if I press enter, it will return us first document. If I again call the next method, it will return a second document. So you can see ID is 2. If I again call the next method, it will return us third document and so on. Okay, and when it has returned all the elements from the cursor, this cursor object, it is storing this set of document. And in this cursor, the last document is this 20th document. After that, if we call next method, the next method will automatically call the next cursor, and from there it will return us the first document. So it will return us the 21st document. So let me actually show you that as well. So you can see it has returned us all the 20 documents from that cursor. Now if I go ahead and if I call next method, this next method will first call the next cursor, and again that will be assigned to this cursor object, and on that it is going to return the next document. That means the 21st document. If I press enter, you see it has returned us 21st document. If I again call the next method on the cursor object, it will return us 22nd document. So this is the use of next method. The next method will return us the next document in the cursor, and it is going to return us exactly one document. Now let me clear the shell here. All right. Now on the cursor, this time instead of calling next method, I'm going to call for each method. Okay, so on the cursor, we can also call for each method. And we have learned about this for each method when we talked about the cursor in the beginning of this course. And what does this for each method take? It takes a callback function. And this for each method is going to loop over each item in the cursor object. So this cursor object is going to store a list, an array. In that array, we will have a set of documents. So this for each method is going to loop over each document. And here we can pass a callback function. For that, I'm going to use arrow function syntax. That callback function is going to take a parameter. Let's call it doc. So this doc will be assigned with the current element on which this for each method is looping over. So for the first iteration, this doc will be assigned with the first document in the cursor. For the second iteration, this doc will be assigned with the second document in the cursor, and so on. And what do we want to do for each iteration? Let's say we simply want to print the document in JSON form. So for that, we can use this print JSON, and to that, we can pass this doc. So we want to loop over each item, each document in the cursor object, and we want to print it in the JSON format. That's what we are doing here. Now, the important thing here to remember is that this for each method is going to loop over each element in the cursor object. And once it has looped over all the elements, it is going to call the next cursor. Once it has looped over all the elements in the second cursor, it is going to call the third cursor, and so on. And this will happen till the for each method has looped over all the documents in the result. So if I go ahead and if I press enter, okay, the J here should be in lowercase. If I go ahead and if I press enter, it is going to loop over each document in the cursor, and it is going to print in JSON format. So here we don't have it in JSON format, we have it as a JavaScript object. So this is how it is going to print it. And once it has looped over all the documents in that cursor, it will call the next cursor, and then it will loop over the documents in the next cursor also. Now here you might ask why we are seeing documents from ID 24. Because if you remember, we already fetched documents till ID 23 using the next method. So we have already gone through the documents till ID 23 using the next method. So this for each method is going to fetch the documents after ID 23. So from the 24th document. I hope this is clear. So now all the documents have been fetched here. All the documents till ID 46 have been fetched here. If I try to call the next method now on the cursor, it has returned us null because we have fetched all the documents from the cursor. So that's why it has returned us null. Now, if you also want to check if there is any next document in the result in the cursor, you can also use another method called hasNext. So here, if I use hasNext, it is going to return us a Boolean value true or false. Here it is returning false. That means now we don't have any document in the cursor left which we need to fetch. Okay, so in this cursor object, all the documents have been fetched. But if I go ahead and if I create another variable, let's say cursor 2 and to this cursor 2, we want to assign a cursor. So again, I'll say db.test.find. So again, the first cursor which this find method will return, that will be assigned to this cursor 2. If I press enter, this cursor 2 has been created and it stores the first 20 documents from the collection. On this, if I call has next, in this case, it should return true because from this cursor, we have not fetched any document yet. If I press enter, okay, it is cursor 2 and not cursor. So if I press enter now, it should return us true. And if I call the next method here, instead of has next, it should return us the first document from that cursor because we have not fetched any document yet from the cursor. So this next method should return us the first document, as you can see. So these are few simple but useful methods which we can use on a cursor. In the next lecture, let's learn how we can sort the result set of a cursor and how to implement pagination using cursor. Let's go ahead and let's clear the console for now, and I'll see you in the next lecture.